Hi everyone, and welcome to an overview of how to find powers of I. Now, please recall that I is the square root of -1, and we usually get an I when we try to do the square root of a negative number. So, for example, this would be written as I times the square root of positive 16, which is 4. So you get 4i there. However, sometimes when we're doing algebra, we have to deal with powers like I to the 12th or I to the 23rd. So we can simplify these using one basic rule. Now, I've seen this done in many different ways, but this is my favorite. You start by dividing the exponent by 4. If the remainder is 0, anything to the 0 power is 1. So if the remainder is 0, then the answer is 1. So basically, the powers here are the remainders, and these results are your answers. So all you need to do is make this little chart here, I to the 0, I to the 1st, I to the 2nd, and I to the 3rd. And it's going to cycle through these three answers for any power of I. So I to the first power, well, anything to the first power is 1. Now, I squared, let's think about that. I is the square root of -1. So if I do the square root of -1 times the square root of -1, okay, what's going to happen is the square roots will cancel each other out, and you're just left with -1. So -1, and I cubed, well, you're going to have this times an extra I, so you get -I there. So those are my 4 results for when we do powers of I. Now we just have to apply the rule. So watch what I'm going to do to apply this. I have -3, so I'm going to write -3 times, now I need I to the 12th power. So I'm going to do 12 divided by 4, and 4 times 3 is 12, and there is no remainder. So the remainder is 0, so I'm going to write a 1 where that I to the 12th used to be. Now, if it was just I to the 12th, I'd be done, but I have to multiply by this -3. -3 times 1 is -3, and that's my answer there. Let me do it again. I to the 23rd. Okay, there's no number in front, so all I have to do is 23 divided by 4. Now, 4 times 5 is 20, and the remainder is 3. So I come over here, I find the power of 3, and this is my answer. It's -I. Okay, and that's the result of this. Let's do this one. I have 4 times I to the 49th. So I have to do 49 divided by 4. And it goes in here once. I bring down my 9. And 4 times 2 is 8 with a remainder of 1. So I come over here, I find the power of 1, and this is my result, I. So I have 4 times I here as my answer. Okay, last one. This had a negative sign in front, so I'm going to write a negative sign. Now I'll do I to the 18th power. So 18 divided by 4. Well, 4 times 4 is 16. The remainder is 2. So I come over here. I to the 2nd power is -1. So I'm going to write a -1 there. Now I just simplify this, and it's equal to 1. And that's my answer. Okay, so that's how you do powers of I. That's my favorite way of doing it. I've seen a few other ways. Let me know if you have any questions.